You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Good morning, Monday, April 30th. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning.
The hunt for answers continues this morning as investigators piece together answers regarding a death in Bradenton.
And a scary night for some Sarasota residents who say a possible explosion happened in this neighborhood on Swift Road. What we know is straight ahead.
And it is never too early to talk to your kids about money, what one local classroom is doing to prepare kids for the real world. We have those stories and more coming up on Good Morning Suncoast. But first, right now,
after a nice weekend, let's check the Monday forecast. John Scalzi.
It looks pretty good for us today, actually. We have a lot of sunshine in store for you, but this entire week, the temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer, so be prepared. The heat is on. As we head into the week, we'll be watching a couple of things, the air quality index as well as the fire danger index, which I suspect will be rising through the week. Right now, everything's pretty quiet on satellite, not much in the way of any kind of cloud cover across the region. In fact, you have to go way out in the Atlantic or way back toward Texas in order to see any cloud cover. We are going to be left with lots of sunshine today. Rain-free skies on Titan radar across the entire peninsula. This morning temperatures are already in the mid-60s, and we are headed probably to a temperature that'll be in the upper 80s today. This represents about a 2 to 4 degree increase in temperature over the last 24 hours. Expect to see those temperatures rising through the morning into the afternoon, with temperatures topping out about 87 degrees. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
All right, John, talk to you soon. Checking first alert traffic right now. There's some unusual buildup there way out on the left side of your screen out by the beaches where Cortez turns in to the road out there northbound heading towards State Road 64. That's around Bradenton Beach, so be aware of that situation there. Otherwise, pretty clear on the roads in Manatee County. Checking farther south, some slowdown there along the Bayfront, northbound and around the entrance to the Ringling Causeway. We'll check on that in 15 minutes. And now checking farther south, we'll see that is all clear so far at 5:02. Here is a live shot right now at Bee Ridge and Swift Road. Pretty peaceful scene so far, but that certainly will change as the morning commute begins.
New this morning, the Sarasota Sheriff's Office is investigating what seems to have been an explosion near a home between Swift Road and Forest Road.
It happened about 1 o'clock this morning. Our Marla Spence is there with details. Marla?
Good morning, guys. Right now, information is limited on that possible explosion that happened at this house behind me on the 40th block of Swift Road in Sarasota. Now, several calls came into the sheriff's office that there had been a loud noise and an explosion near the home. The sheriff's office says those calls came in around midnight. We spoke to one neighbor in this area who was one of several that called 911, and he recalls the moment when he heard the loud noise.
It sounded like a stick of dynamite, if not two of them, or maybe possibly a propane tank. It's a heavy explosion. Glass shattered.
Sheriff deputies say no one was hurt in this possible explosion. They also say there is no immediate danger to the public. So far, there is no word yet on what caused the possible explosion. Right now, we're waiting on the Sarasota Sheriff's Office to get back to us with some more information. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
This is a developing story. For the latest on this story, breaking news, and your up-to-the-minute forecast, head over to our app. It's under WWSB or under My Suncoast.
And this morning, the hunt for answers continues in Bradenton after a body was found near the State Road 64 boat ramp over the weekend. The Bradenton Police Department, along with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, responded to a call on State Road 64 East yesterday after reports there of a suspicious death. They're now waiting for the results of an autopsy for the official cause of death. So far, the victim's name, age, and gender have not been released pending notification of the family. We, of course, will bring you more on this story as it develops.
Residents of 25 homes in Sebring are back home this morning after a brush fire threatened houses in the Highlands County area. This is about 85 miles east of Sarasota. A 5-acre area was covered in smoke as firefighters put out the flames. Electricity in the area was shut off as a precaution. One home did sustain some minor damage from melted siding. Luckily, firefighters put out the fire by mid-afternoon And after a sweep of the area, some people were allowed to go back into their houses. It's believed an all-terrain vehicle, or an ATV, sparked this brush fire.
Well, a boil water advisory remains in effect for some Bradenton customers this morning. It's all following a water main break that happened over the weekend. That advisory affects customers along 53rd Avenue East between 68th Street East and 71st Street East in Bradenton. Until that advisory is lifted, you are asked in that area to boil all of your drinking water and your cooking water for at least 1 full minute before you use it, just as a precaution. And the alleged Golden State Killer is on suicide watch this morning. Joseph James D'Angelo was in court on Friday, officially charged with 8 murders so far, but linked to dozens of rapes and murders in both the 70s and the 80s. Now, using decades-old DNA samples that detectives actually submitted to an ancestry database. That was how he was caught. Now, law enforcement officials believe that the former police officer is responsible for at least 12 murders and more than 50 rapes in at least 10 counties over the years. They had almost 8,000 potential suspects over the years, but none of them were D'Angelo. Although at one point law enforcement did start to suspect that the killer may have been ex-police officer or ex-military because the crime scenes were so immaculate.
Also in California, hundreds of migrants attempted to enter the U.S. over the weekend in an event called March Without Borders. Those in favor of relaxed immigration rules rallied to try to welcome the refugees. The migrants are mostly from Central America and have been walking for a month. They say they want a better life for themselves and their children that is safe from violence and poverty in their home countries. Former President George H.W. Bush continues to recover from an infection at Methodist Hospital. On Saturday, his son Neil Bush gave more insight into his father's condition.
Next day he woke up and he had a urinary tract infection which turned into septic shock. Doctor said he'd be in the intensive care unit for a week or whatever. He came back in 2 days. Who knows when he's going to come home, but he's doing much, much better.
Bush was taking part in an event honoring his late mother. He and members of the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation wrote messages on the frame of a new house. The messages were in tribute to the former First Lady's motto that literacy is the framework for success. Guests also donated books for the debut of a library at the site. Back in this area, the city of Venice is looking at providing its own ambulance service. That's after the city council directed staff last week to come up with a plan for an in-house ambulance service. Currently, Sarasota County paramedics are housed in the city fire department building. If the city had its own ambulance, it would take up to 3 years to implement. The city says it would cost about $2 million to make happen.
So what is the best age to talk to your kids about money? Well, here's a hint. If you're waiting till 16 or 18, it is way too late. Get kids started early. Take them grocery shopping with you. Even help them budget their birthday money from good old Uncle Ray. Teach them to spend some and save some. Next hour, I'm going to take you to a local class that teaches kids starting at the age of 5 how to manage their money, what things are wants, what things are needs, and all the basics, setting them up for money smarts later on in life.
They learned about a budget and how, they have to have a certain amount of money, but if they run out, it's gone.
And of course, we do have some interesting, there's actually a side category that they also use. They also teach kids how to spend, how to save, but also how to donate, which is another interesting, because this is the next generation that's going to take care of nonprofit things like humane shelters and things like that. So great class.
Good, that's next hour then.
Yeah, we'll have that next hour, the full story for you.
All right, still ahead, first alert traffic, and for the second year in a row, President Trump has skipped the White House Correspondents' Dinner. What he is saying this morning about the comedian from the event.
And a little later in the hour, a massive wildfire has forced residents in Arizona out of their homes. Look at this video. We're going to tell you just how all of that started. We'll have that story. But first, it is far less than that. It's going to be another beautiful day on tap today, right, John Scalzi?
Absolutely right. The drive time forecast is great. None of the inclement weather boxes checked. Everything is fine out there this morning. Temperatures will be warm, though. No doubt about that. I hope your AC in your car is working. We'll have low 70s, clear and dry on the way to work, on the way home. Sunny and dry. There might be an isolated inland shower, but I think most of us will not see any rainfall today. And the temperatures will be in the lower 80s after having reached a daytime high in the upper 80s. We're looking at no airport delays being reported by the airport hubs, but I will tell you later on today, perhaps the O'Hare Airport may have some issues as the heat is on for tornado threat in the midsection of the country. Complete forecast in a minute.
love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we look at an air temperature coming in at 66 degrees. We look at a dew point coming in at 58. And clearly we have some pretty comfortable weather out there. Now the thing is, that easterly wind that we have, that's going to be with us all day long, all week long, it looks like, at least an east or a northeast wind. And then in the afternoon we'll catch a little bit of a sea breeze, but it'll be a very shallow sea breeze kept very close to the coast by that easterly wind. So what does that mean? That means warm temperatures. Warm temperatures all week long. And not such a large rain chance today either, as that wind will be pushing that sea breeze very close to the coastline. Titan radar not showing much in the way of any current rain showers around. Maybe later on in the afternoon you might catch a shower on the other coast, and they'll tend to fly inland and kind of fall apart as they do so. So where will the hot spots for weather be today? Well, across the center section of the country, high tornado threat there. We are now entering kind of the peak of tornado season for the midsection of the country, and they are going to be under the gun today with a strong chance of seeing some tornadic activity there. Scattered showers to the north of us as an area of low pressure continues to spin in the northeast, but for us, sunny and dry. And warm right straight through the period. We'll start at 7 a.m. with 66 degrees, having lost a couple of degrees over the next hour. And then as we head into the noontime hour, we'll gain it all back. Plenty of sunshine and easterly wind flow, temperatures climbing steadily up to about 85 degrees by noon. Lots of sunshine as we head into the afternoon as well, with the temperature topping out about 87 degrees. Wouldn't be a bit surprised if several times this week some inland locations get pretty close to the 90-degree mark. 82 degrees by 7 p.m. As we head into the evening, it should be great. The future forecast calls for that easterly wind to continue on, maybe an isolated shower over on the other coast. But we are looking high and dry today with plenty of sunshine around, maybe a little bit of a sea breeze trying to develop right along the immediate coast. But again, that sea breeze will be kept pretty close to the coastline. A few fair weather clouds develop in the afternoon, and really that's about it for today. The heat is on. Look for Mayaca City to come in at 65, currently 65 at Lakewood Ranch, Parrish, Bradenton, the same. Sarasota 66, 69 degrees in Inglewood, 66 in Northport. These morning temperatures are all going to be kind of uniform thanks to that easterly wind flow that we developed today. Again, across the nation, things are pretty quiet in most locations. Certainly the deep south and the mid-Atlantic all look good. One area of low pressure in the northeast, and of course that developing system back to the west thanks to that low pressure area producing that tornado threat. But high pressure for us is kind of anchored in place, so that provides us with that easterly wind under the underbelly of that high, and that keeps us in that flow that's a warm flow. The land gets heated by plenty of sunshine. We start to see the land heat the air right at the surface, and then that east wind transport all that heated air into our location as we head into the afternoon. So we end up with sunny, dry conditions, maybe a little bit higher humidity as we head into the next several days as some surface moisture is transported from the Atlantic. But it'll be a rain-free week for the most part, maybe an isolated shower here or there, but that would be about it. Northeast wind switches to the northwest close to the coastline. Boaters, look for a 5 to 10 knot wind. And the forecast looks like this. Daytime high today coming in around 87. Watch out. Now, over the next several days, those temperatures continue in the 80s. By the time we hit Thursday, pretty close to 90, and the warm temperature continues right into the weekend. UV indexes, by the way, are now 12, which means they're in the extreme category, so slather up with that sunscreen if you're headed to the beaches. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, John. Let's take a look outside. Your first alert traffic out there this morning. The roads are pretty free and clear out there so far. A little slowdown, of course, on 301 and State Road 70, which is pretty normal for around this time of the morning. Farther south into Sarasota County, those roads are looking pretty decent. Not too much to show there so far this morning. A little slowdown on there on 41 right as you pass by Fruitville, but other than that, not too much. A little bit farther south in the area, if you're heading farther south in the county this morning in the next half hour or so, your commute will be a pretty easy one. So not too much going on this morning. 517, that is your first alert traffic.
And now to the fallout over the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. It
is an annual event known to roast politicians and White House staff, but did comedian Michelle Wolf go too far this year? Here's ABC's Candace Gibson.
This morning, the annual black tie celebration of the First Amendment under fire.
Trump is president. It's not ideal.
Most of the backlash from the White House Correspondents' Dinner aimed at Michelle Wolf, the comedian accused of crossing the line with personal shots at the president's team, including the press secretary, Sarah Sanders.
I actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye. Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies.
Wolf also roasted Kellyanne Conway.
You guys gotta stop putting Kellyanne on your shows. All she does is lie. If you don't give her a platform, she has nowhere to lie. It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods, how do we get Kellyanne under that tree? I'm not suggesting she gets hurt, just stuck. Stuck under a tree.
This morning, the White House Correspondents Association responded to the criticism, saying Wolf's rant doesn't reflect the group's effort. In a statement, the association president says the event was meant to offer a unifying message about our common commitment to a vigorous and free press, not to divide people. Unfortunately, the entertainer's monologue was not in the spirit of that mission. President Trump also blasted Wolf Sunday night, tweeting, "The White House Correspondents' Dinner was a failure last year, but this year was an embarrassment to everyone associated with it. The filthy comedian totally bombed. Put the dinner to rest. Start over." The president skipped the dinner for a second consecutive year. Instead, he held a rally in Michigan. And the former White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, called the event a disgrace, to which Wolf replied, "Thank you." Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Well, Wolf also said on Twitter that none of the jokes about Sanders were about her appearance, only her, quote, despicable behavior. Some comedians are defending Wolf, including Jimmy Kimmel and Kathy Griffin, but some journalists are praising Sanders for not walking out.
And still to come on Good Morning Suncoast, two majorless wireless companies are merging. What this might mean for your monthly cell phone bill.
And at 5:30, breaking overnight, the Sheriff's Department is investigating reports of a possible explosion near a Sarasota home. How one man is describing the moments before the explosion. Here's a peek outside. A pretty day in progress. Should see a high of 87 degrees today. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
And welcome back. You're looking live now at Atlanta, Georgia. That's the Skyview Atlanta Ferris wheel. It's 20 stories high.
That is also known around the studio as Ray's favorite Ferris wheel, as we like to call it.
I decided after 18 weeks to do some research on this thing. Turns out that's
well
what it is.
Done.
46 degrees in Atlanta right now. Milder here. Should see a high of 87 degrees on the Suncoast today. Video of the arrest of one of Bravo's Real Housewives has been released.
That's right, and it's been a part of the season that's airing right now on Bravo so far. Well, you had to know this would be out eventually. Police video shows Luann de Lesseps from the Real Housewives of New York handcuffed in the back of a police cruiser last Christmas in Palm Beach. Now, authorities say first she locked herself in a bathroom and refused to leave, then slammed a door, hitting one of the police officers, injuring his head. And then, this is a video right here, as she was being put into the patrol car, she started threatening to kill another officer. She was eventually charged with disorderly intoxication, resisting arrest, battery on a law enforcement officer. She did go to rehab for 30 days. She will be back in court later on this month. Oh, some sad news this morning. Two of our happy places, chocolate and soda, may start costing us more. Companies like Coca-Cola and Hershey say higher shipping and raw materials prices are driving up the prices of both soda and chocolate. Now, Coke said last week that shipping costs here in North America rose about 20% from last year. For Hershey, it's cocoa prices. They're up about 40% from last year. Some other products that could also be going up soon, cereal, soup, paper, and cleaning products, are all going to be costing a little bit more to make. Well, two huge wireless companies are merging, hoping to create more competition in the market. So will customers see an impact in their monthly phone bill?
We've got answers in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, two major wireless carriers want to merge.
T-Mobile is offering $26 billion for Sprint. They say the merger is necessary to compete with Verizon and AT&T, and that it will mean better service and more jobs. Some analysts disagree, saying prices will rise and jobs will be cut. Apple is getting into virtual reality. Reports say the company is working on a VR headset to compete with Facebook's Oculus Rift and other companies.
Unlike other headsets, it'll be wireless, and you won't need a phone to use it. It'll reportedly arrive in 2020. And Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin company is closer to putting paying customers into space. It launched its 8th successful test flight of the New Shepard capsule.
The cargo included a dummy named Mannequin Skywalker, and Bezos hopes to send real people into space by the end of the year.
Quite ambitious.
You first.
No.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Safelite Auto Glass.
So you think this chip is nothing to worry about? Well, at Safelite, we know sooner or later, every chip will crack. These friends were on a trip when their windshield got chipped. So they scheduled at Safelite.com. They didn't have to change their plans or worry about a thing. I'll see you in a little bit. And I fixed it right away with a strong repair they can trust. Plus, with most insurance, a Safelite repair is no cost to you. Really? Being there whenever you need us, that's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritin and relief from symptoms caused by over 200 allergens, like those from Buddy. Because stuffed animals are clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live Claritin Clear.
Delivery should look like this. Handcrafted layers of clean food you can give your kids. Tomatoes. Even the picky ones. Panera. Food as it should be. Now delivered.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us on this Monday morning, April 30th, last day of the month. I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins.
Hundreds at the U.S. border, part of a caravan. They all say they want asylum here in the U.S., but will they all be able to get in?
And the Sarasota Sheriff's Office is investigating a possible explosion that happened at this home on Swift Road in Sarasota. What we know is straight ahead.
And leaving your furry friend at home may soon be a thing of the past, where family pets will soon be able to go with you. Those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast.
But first, a look at the weather with our First Alert meteorologist, John Skulls. It looks to be another beautiful but warm day out there.
Very warm day. In fact, we are headed toward a week of warm afternoons that are going to feel just darn right summer-like, no doubt about it. We'll watch, I think, as we head into midweek, those drought indexes begin to climb. Also, we'll have to keep an eye on the air quality index as well, as we have a very stagnant area of high pressure that's going to build over the area over the next several days. For today, plenty of sunshine around as dawn breaks. I don't think we'll see too much in the way of cloud cover across the region. Lots of sunshine throughout the day today, and in fact, the entire deep south as that high pressure ridge builds in. No issues if you're traveling to the Atlanta airport, the Raleigh-Durham airport, the Charlotte airport. All look pretty good. Back to the west, though, there could be some problems with tornadoes in the open plains today. As far as our state goes, everything is quiet weather-wise in terms of rainfall today. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot around. Maybe an isolated shower over on the other coast, but not much locally. Temperatures generally in the mid to upper 60s most everywhere you look to start off your morning. Warmer than yesterday by about 3 to 5 degrees. So we are already on the way to what will end up being a warm afternoon. 66 degrees by 7, by noon 72, and about 85 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Complete forecast details coming up in just a few.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Checking the roads. An early buildup there on Gulf Drive on the left-hand side of your screen. Not sure why there's congestion out there toward the beaches, perhaps some construction work going on.
They're trying to get out there early. They just heard John's forecast. That's what it is.
That's a good guess.
Okay.
State Road 70 eastbound as you cross by Lockwood Ridge. Some congestion there. Let's check farther south now on the maps, the northern half of Sarasota County. Nothing in the red, just some congestion there, perhaps on the B Ridge in both directions. Let's check our final map to the south there, and we'll see nothing much to speak of so far. We'll check back shortly. Let's take a live shot at a usual busy spot as the morning progresses. Right now, nothing to speak of. B Ridge and Swift Roads, pretty quiet there so far. That'll change, though, as the Monday morning commute begins in about an hour or so.
Developing overnight, the Sarasota Sheriff's Office is investigating what seems to have been an explosion near a home between Swift Road and Forest Road.
It happened about 1 o'clock this morning. Our Marla Spence is on location. Marla?
Good morning, guys. This neighborhood is quite different than it was last night. Around midnight, sheriff deputies were out here at this home on the 40th 100 block on Swift Road in Sarasota investigating a possible explosion. Take a look. This is the scene. A little after midnight, sheriff deputies and forensics responded to several calls about a loud noise and explosion near a home. We spoke to one neighbor in this area, and he says the loud noise sounded like sticks of dynamite or a propane gas tank. He recalls the moment when he heard the loud noise.
Yeah, I was already outside, and I just walked out down my driveway and come down this way and called 911, and before I knew it, they had heavy rescue. And
Sheriff deputies say no one was hurt in that possible explosion. They also say there's no immediate danger to the public. Right now, we are waiting to hear back from the Sarasota Sheriff's Office on what could possibly have caused this possible explosion. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. For the latest on this story and other breaking news and your forecast, check out our app. It's under WWSB or under My Suncoast.
Well, it was a grueling month-long journey from Central America all the way to the U.S.-Mexico border. But now comes the hard part for these migrants.
They have to plead their case to get asylum in this country. Reporter John Lawrence has their story.
These migrants from Central America traveled more than 3,000 miles.
No crea que es fácil tomar una decisión dejar nuestra familia.
And although their caravan made it to the U.S.-Mexico border near San Diego, the journey isn't complete. The migrants will surrender to border officials and say why they want to enter the U.S.
If the interview goes well, then they can follow through with that case either through immigration court or through the asylum office, depending on the case. Or if it's denied, then they can request a review of that hearing with the immigration court directly.
President Trump has had harsh words about the migrant caravan, calling the situation a mess.
We've gotten Mexico to work with us on stopping a lot of what's pouring in, but we have the worst laws anywhere in the world.
Others are more sympathetic.
We've always been a country that helps the weary traveler, and we should do it, as I said, in a way where we come together and put in place immigration laws that protect the border, but also, uphold that responsibility of taking care of people.
Dozens of migrants say they will stay outside an immigration center until every last one is allowed into the U.S. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
So international law requires the U.S. has to consider any asylum case, but it's not easy to succeed. Historically, most asylum seekers in a recent 5-year period lost their cases.
Thousands attended a vigil in Toronto yesterday to remember the victims of last week's van attack. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and other leaders were there as well. Attendees united to sing "O Canada" at the end of yesterday's event as they gathered near the site where 10 people were killed and more than a dozen others were injured. The victims ranged in age from 22 to 94. The suspected attacker in the case, 25-year-old Alec Manassian, is now facing several attempted murder and first-degree murder charges.
Back in this country, the fire burning near Happy Jack, Arizona has grown to 500 acres. Residents nearby are being urged to evacuate. Officials say about 500 firefighters are battling this blaze. The cause is not yet clear.
Well, President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are expected to speak later this week at the NRA's annual meeting. Months ago, the president made several comments amid nationwide debates about gun reform following the deadly school shooting in Parkland. Now, Trump suggested that law enforcement officials take guns away from people determined to be a threat without due process. He's now urged lawmakers not to be afraid of the NRA. And at one point, Trump mentioned raising the purchase age to 21 for certain weapons and also proposed expanding those background checks. It would be the president's third consecutive address at the group's annual meeting.
It's a growing issue, and here on the Suncoast as well, people calling their family pets service animals. In just 5 minutes, anybody can go online and register their pet as a service animal or emotional support animal. They don't need any proof. They pay as little as $50, and a certificate or an ID card will arrive. They can make it hard for business owners to be able to tell what's truly a service animal and what's not.
In the state of Florida, it's a second-degree misdemeanor to misrepresent your pet as a service animal, but it's really hard to enforce.
Tonight at 6, ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick looking into just how often this is happening on the Suncoast and what can be changed to fix it. Still ahead, latest and first alert traffic and...
Now this is a way to end a marathon, what one Kentucky man did after he and his girlfriend crossed the finish line that will forever change their lives. We're going to have this story straight ahead.
Can I guess?
Has nothing to do with this alligator.
No, it's been a while since we've seen this, an alligator roaming a local golf course. How experts removed it. This is happening in Sarasota County. That story is also on the way. Here's a peek at the White House in Washington. The top right light is on. That's a pantry in there.
That's a second floor kitchen.
Right.
That's where Melania is getting Barron ready for breakfast. Or at least that's what we make up every morning.
Almond milk.
Almond milk, okay. We're just creating their whole story.
John's got a story as well. Good morning.
It's a warm one, too. As you head the kids out to school this morning, no worries in terms of any kind of rainfall or anything like that. But as they come home this afternoon, it is certainly going to be a scorcher. 87 degrees, drop-off time a little bit later on today. But pick-up time, about 71. 10 out of 10 chance of an outside recess today. Not any issue with rain, wind, or temperatures. Even though we're going to be having afternoon highs in the mid to upper 80s, it's above average for a daytime high, but not out of the ordinary. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices, They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly one in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
66 degrees, the air temperature, dew-point value very comfortable, coming in at 58. And the key to the forecast today is in that area right there, the east wind that's developed. East wind at about 8. That east wind is going to do two things. One, it's going to keep our sea breeze very shallow and close to the coast. And two, it is going to provide us with some very warm temperatures as heated air over land is pushed into our area as we head into the afternoon. Radar quiet across the entire deep south and the Florida peninsula. No issues here. We do have some rain showers up to the northeast. That's an area of low pressure that's going to take this big expansive area of high pressure and push it a little bit closer to us as we head into the afternoon. Back to the west, another area of low pressure promises some really rough weather for parts of the open plains, probably for the next 3 days, it looks like. 66 degrees by 7 o'clock, 85 degrees, sunny and warm by the time we get to noon. And as we head into the afternoon, it is going to be toasty, no doubt about it. 87 degrees, all the air conditioners will be running overtime this week, I think. 87 is actually pretty representative of what I expect to see all week long. Not much of a change here with that big ridge of high pressure just firmly anchored over the state of Florida and the eastern seaboard. 82 degrees by the time we get to 7 p.m., still in the 80s, and we'll have plenty of sunshine as we head into the afternoon with very little chance of rainfall. In fact, the rain chances near the coastline and inland communities are pretty much zero. Inland, you know, over the course of the afternoon, if you got an isolated shower, extreme eastern parts of Hardee or DeSoto counties, it wouldn't be a shocker, but don't expect it, because still, even in inland areas, the rain chances are pretty low. East wind develops and continues with us, maybe an isolated shower over on the other coast, but again, those showers will tend to rapidly dissipate as they move across a very dry peninsula. Now, over the next several days, you will notice the humidity begin to increase a little bit at the surface. Aloft, the air is still going to be very dry. Easterly wind continues into tomorrow as well. Temperatures locally are all, generally speaking, coming in the mid to upper 60s. We have 170 on the board, 71 degrees at Longboat Key. So this area of low pressure back to the west does have the potential of producing tornadic activity over the next several days as it gradually drifts closer and closer to the heartland. High pressure is pushed southward and eastward into the area around the state of Florida by the low pressure area exiting off the northeastern coast. That provides us with our easterly wind flow and dry skies. In fact, we'll watch the fire danger continue to rise. We will watch the air index also, in case there could be some issues as we head into midweek. But for today, sunny and dry, higher humidity slightly, and rain-free conditions right into next week. So how's the forecast shaping up? Well, for boaters today, not too bad. Northeast at about 5 to 10. We'll look for a moderate chop building with 2-foot seas. Water temperature at 77 right now. Forecast for the week ahead looks like this. We'll have for today 87 degrees. As we head into tomorrow, about the same. Nighttime lows will be mild, and then as we head into midweek, warmer still, I think. And then as we head into the weekend, warm temperatures. So this is a week of very warm, dry, sunny conditions. In fact, not too terribly bad with, generally speaking, relatively low humidity. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. That is one beautiful forecast. Let's take a look outside to your first alert traffic out there this morning. Roads are still running pretty decent. Just a little blip right there in Manatee County on State Road 70 right before you get to 41. Other than that, those roads are running pretty clear around this time in the morning. In Sarasota County, not much to see there as well either. We're starting to see a few backups right there on University Parkway, which is pretty normal around this time in the morning. And then a little bit farther south in the county, those maps are looking pretty decent as well too. If your commute if you're taking you to Port Charlotte or Punta Gorda, anytime within the next 30 minutes or so, you're going to have a pretty easy commute this morning. It is 5:47, and that is your first alert traffic. A Kentucky man decided to make the finish of a marathon one to remember for his girlfriend. Raycom News Network's Mike Fassell reports.
Packed streets, flags up, and the sounds of race day. The Kentucky Derby Festival has once again taken over Louisville. But Saturday morning, it wasn't horses fighting to cross the finish line first.
A good 4-hour jog is what I'm expecting.
Murray's dad, Sean, says it may be his son's first race ever, but he's got high hopes for him.
I'm thinking he's going to win it, but I'm not positive. I'm going to be at the finish line, though.
And with that same location in mind, runners hit the pavement and weren't at a loss for words while doing it.
I am feeling great. Come on down, the weather's fine.
Again, great race day. Let's get the record.
And even I joined some out on the course to see how they were feeling.
Like I've run 13 miles already.
How many have you run already, though?
We started this week.
As thousands of feet shuffled throughout town, the family of Adam Siebert waited at the finish line, hoping to expand their team with a surprise that had been planned for months. So when Melissa Ratliff crossed, the man she ran with, who had been her boyfriend at the start of the race, dropped to one knee, but not out of exhaustion.
Well, she's like super competitive, so I was really afraid she was going to dart ahead of us, and that kind of would have like messed up the plan.
Ratliff said yes, and after 13.1 miles, got to take home something shiny and gold. It just wasn't the finisher's medal she thought she'd be getting.
I thought she was catching on, so I was trying to tell her it was next weekend that was going to happen.
I had no idea.
A surprise at the end of a long run that now marks the starting line to a new journey.
All right, it happened again. A bold alligator on a golf course, this time at Pelican Point Golf Club in Venice. Look at this. Video of a gator on the practice green. Pelican Point is off Center Road between 41 and Jacaranda. The gator made a beeline past several parked golf carts, not too fast actually. Some onlookers held back, thanks to a viewer named Anita Voth for passing along this amazing video from South Sarasota County.
Well, it's not alligators, it's pelicans. A pair of pelicans crashed a graduation in California over the weekend, making for quite the distraction from the big event. Video footage caught the birds swooping down on the crowd as people laughed and screamed and tried unsuccessfully to shoo these guys away. They did not want to leave.
No.
After landing in the crowd at one point, one bird hopped over to the stage itself and really disrupted the ceremony. Now, school officials tried for minutes to shoo these pelicans away. One, it tried to bite, and then another one just refused to leave for a few minutes. Eventually, the birds were ushered out and the ceremony resumed. That's what happens when your graduation overlooks the Pacific Ocean. That is the downside, but gosh, look at that view. That's beautiful.
I was on a bike ride yesterday morning and I was taking a picture of some pelicans on Sarasota Bay. And just as I took the picture, a little white bird dive-bombed down for a fish.
Oh, nice.
And I took it at the right moment. So if you see this, it's on the website, ABC7, also Ray Collins, ABC7. You can see the bird going right down past the two pelicans.
Perfect timing.
It really was. So check that out on the websites. 5:51 right now. We'll update the day's top news headlines in just a bit. But first, here's a peek outside. Should see a high of 87 degrees today right now and plenty of sunshine. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky. You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
When ABC7 declares a First Alert Weather Day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a First Alert Weather Day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A First Alert Weather Day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
I'm Alan Cohn. Who can even afford that? New apartment buildings are booming in Sarasota, but good luck trying to rent one and still make ends meet.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. It is 5:54, and here is a list of today's headlines, everything that we're following for you on the Suncoast this morning.
A brush fire in Sebring caused the evacuation of 25 homes in Highlands County. This is about 90 minutes east of Sarasota. It's believed an ATV actually sparked this fire.
Plus, is it too easy to claim that your pet is a service animal? Well, tonight at 6 Just Out, Rick takes a look at how often it's happening right here on the Suncoast.
And Manatee County Sheriff deputies are trying to solve a homicide from Sunday morning on State Road 64 in East Bradenton. They don't believe this was a random killing.
Coming up in the next hour, a warning out for parents this morning, the virtual kidnapping scam that is targeting families. We're going to have more on that story in the next hour and everything that you need to do to protect your family when they're online.
All right, let's check today's forecast. Here he is, folks, John Scalzi.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty good. In case you missed it on Friday, the update on the red tide issues across our area are good news. Every place along the Suncoast that has sampled water quality shows no red tide in the water, so good news there. East wind will continue throughout the day today, and therefore any toxins, especially in the waters well to the south of us, will continue to be pushed to the waters. As far as the fire danger index goes, there the news is not as good. The fire danger continues to rise across the region. We're now looking at every place in the high category, with a few places like Charlotte and Lee County in the very high category. Complete forecast coming up in a few.
I was actually seen with John this past weekend.
What? You guys were cheating on me together?
Didn't go that far. We were at an event called Dr. Idol at the White Buffalo. It was all a fundraiser.
What was the winning song?
Midnight Train to Georgia.
Nice.
All right. More news after this.
We'll be right back.